The Academy of Interstellar Warfare sat on a jagged asteroid in the middle of a star system, orbiting a dying sun. Its massive spires stretched toward the black void, a place where cadets from dozens of planets came to learn the art of survival, combat, and discipline. Every species had its champions: the hulking Thraxians who could crush stone with a bare hand, the lithe and venomous Circali, and the human cadets, small in comparison but unshakably determined. Inside the training arena, the morning sunlight reflected off the metallic walls, casting long shadows over the combat mats. The hall was alive with the sounds of grunts, clashing training swords, and the sharp commands of alien instructors. Among the cadets, nerves ran high. Mistakes were punished, not always with words. Sarah, a Deathworld Cadet, adjusted the straps of her training armor. Her home planet had honed her survival instincts. She had learned to fight through poisonous storms, ambushes by massive predators, and nights that were colder than most beings could survive. Yet nothing had prepared her for the strict discipline of the Academy. "Cadet Sarah, focus!" shouted Instructor Zeltrax, a three-eyed reptilian with talon-like claws and a whip-like tail. His voice was low, commanding, and full of menace. He was feared among the cadets, known for breaking the spirits of even the strongest warriors. Sarah bowed slightly, trying to steady her breathing. Her movements were precise, but she knew they weren't perfect. Today, the drills demanded speed, agility, and coordination, a combination she had yet to master fully. Zeltrax's tail lashed across the arena, knocking over a training dummy with a metallic crash. His three eyes narrowed. "Pathetic," he hissed. "You call that combat stance? You will fall." Before Sarah could reply, he swung his clawed arm with brutal speed. The strike hit her chest, sending a sharp jolt of pain across her body. The arena fell silent for a heartbeat. Other cadets froze, unsure whether to intervene or keep their eyes down. Sarah staggered, pain radiating through her ribs. But within her, a fire ignited. She had faced worse threats on Deathworld. From predators that could devour a human in a single bite, she had survived storms that ripped continents apart. This was nothing by comparison. Her training instincts took over. Her elbow tightened almost without thought. Reflex, honed by years of survival in the harshest environment, drove her arm upward in a single, precise arc. Crack. The sound echoed through the hall. Zeltrax's jaw jerked sideways and his three eyes widened in disbelief. Cadets gasped. Some whispered, their words caught between fear and amazement. Karma, a human cadet standing a few meters away, blinked in shock. Did she just? Sarah's face remained calm, almost serene. Her body relaxed. Though every cadet in the arena could see the truth, she had defended herself and delivered justice in one instinctive strike. Zeltrax staggered back, muttering in his guttural tongue, clawed hands clutching his jaw. "You dare strike me?" he growled, voice tight with pain. "I don't answer to you," Sarah said quietly, her voice steady. "I answer for myself." A ripple of shock spread through the cadets. No one had ever defied Zeltrax openly, and even fewer had struck him. The balance of power in the Academy had shifted in seconds. Karma's eyes shone with awe. Humans were taught to think, survive, and adapt. She had heard stories of human tenacity, but seeing it in action was different. Here was a cadet, smaller and less intimidating than many around her, standing unbroken before a Predator-class instructor. The rest of the training session continued in tense silence. Zeltrax, nursing his jaw, kept a careful distance from Sarah. His glare burned, but there was caution now. Among the cadets, whispers became louder, humans. And Deathworlders like Sarah were not just strong, they were unpredictable, clever and dangerous in their own way. Later, in the debrief hall, cadets crowded together, eager to discuss the incident. Sarah had become the topic of conversation, a living example of courage and precision. Karma approached her, curiosity and admiration in her eyes. "I didn't think anyone could hit him and survive," she said. Sarah shrugged, wiping the sweat from her brow. "He shouldn't have hit me. That's all there is." Karma shook her head. "But your elbow, you didn't even hesitate. That's incredible." Sarah's lips curved in a small smile. "Instinct. On Deathworld, hesitation gets you killed. You move when you have to. You fight when you must. You survive." The day continued with drills and exercises, but the atmosphere had changed. Cadets looked at Sarah differently. The instructors, too, were more cautious, muttering in their own languages. For the first time, a human cadet and a Deathworlder cadet had proven that courage and quick thinking could challenge authority, even a Predator-class instructor. That evening, the dormitory halls were quiet, lit by soft blue lights. Cadets changed out of their armor, some nursing minor bruises, others simply exhausted. Sarah sat on her bunk, staring at the starfield beyond the viewport. Karma joined her, sitting down silently. After a moment, she said, "You know, humans like you don't just survive. You change the rules." Sarah turned to her, eyes calm but her voice firm. "Maybe, or maybe we just refuse to be beaten." A soft silence fell between them. The galaxy beyond the dormitory seemed immense, filled with threats and challenges but also possibilities. Sarah had faced one of the Academy's greatest fears and had come out unscathed. She had proven that survival, instinct, and courage were more than just physical traits. They were a force that could change expectations. The next morning, the cadets lined up once more for drills. Eyes followed Sarah as she moved with quiet confidence. She no longer felt fear, only focus. Karma walked beside her, inspired, ready to learn and adapt. Somewhere deep within the training halls, Zeltrax nursed his jaw, muttering threats under his breath. He didn't yet realize that the balance of power had begun to shift. Across the galaxy, new stories were forming. Stories of humans who defied odds, faced the impossible, and changed the rules of engagement, not with sheer strength, but with courage, precision, and instinct. And in that quiet, unassuming moment, the Academy realized something important. The galaxy had underestimated humans. They were small, fragile, and often dismissed, but they carried a spark, a fire that could ignite change. And anyone who stood in their way would quickly learn that sometimes the smallest force could leave the largest mark. Sarah rose, ready for the next challenge, knowing that the real test had only begun. Karma followed her, and together they stepped into the arena, ready to show the galaxy that courage, instinct, and humanity were forces to be reckoned with. The starfield outside the viewport seemed to watch, silent and patient. Somewhere among the stars, the galaxy leaned in, curious about what these humans could do next. The Academy of Interstellar Warfare was quiet before dawn, the metallic walls glowing faintly under the soft light of the distant sun. Cadets slept fitfully, dreaming of drills, missions, and tests of courage. But some minds never truly rest. Sarah lay on her bunk, staring at the ceiling. Her body ached, not from injury but from anticipation. She knew the next day would be harder. Instructor Zeltrax was not the type to forget humiliation, and the Academy thrived on testing limits. Every cadet learned this early. Some survived, others didn't. Karma entered the dormitory quietly, carrying 2 trays of nutrient packs. "You don't sleep much, huh?" she whispered, sitting beside Sarah. Sarah shrugged. "I don't fear what comes. I prepare for it." Karma handed her a pack. "Humans, you really are different." "I think I understand now." Sarah's eyes flickered. "Different isn't always easy. It makes enemies." Their conversation was cut short by the sudden blast of the morning bell. Drills began at first light. Cadets dressed quickly, strapping armor and weapons to their bodies. The arena awaited. When they arrived, a crowd had gathered. Cadets from other planets whispered, exchanging glances. Word had spread about Sarah's elbow. Zeltrax stood at the center of the arena, his jaw still slightly crooked, his glare sharper than ever. He had brought reinforcements, instructors from other species known for harsh methods. "Today," Zeltrax hissed, "you will prove your worth. Every cadet who fails will be sent to the lower training halls, permanently." His voice carried authority, fear, and an unspoken warning. The first exercises were tactical. Teams of cadets had to navigate a simulated battlefield filled with traps, puzzles, and complex strategy challenges. It wasn't just about strength. It required clever thinking, cooperation, and adaptability. Sarah glanced at Karma. "We can do this. Don't panic. Move carefully, observe, act." Karma nodded. "Lead, then. I'll follow." The first obstacle was a maze of walls and energy barriers. Cadets moved quickly, some rushing and triggering traps. A Thraxian cadet triggered a collapsing bridge, sending alarms blaring. Most would panic, but Sarah analyzed the pattern. She identified the timing of barriers, the safe paths, and guided her team. They moved like a single organism, avoiding dangers that had caught others. The observers gasped. Zeltrax's tail lashed in irritation. No cadet should succeed this easily, he muttered. Next came the logic challenge. A control panel with multiple switches controlling doors, platforms, and security measures. Other cadets fumbled, pressing buttons randomly. Sarah paused, taking a deep breath. Observe first, she instructed. Think like the machine. Every action has a reaction. Her team watched as she tested each lever carefully, predicting the sequence. A series of clicks and whirs echoed, and doors opened in the correct order. The team moved through without triggering alarms. Another murmur ran through the academy. This small Deathworlder, aided by humans, was showing unmatched skill. Finally, the last challenge, a simulated combat exercise. Cadets had to capture a flag from a heavily guarded area, avoiding detection. Zeltrax and the other instructors monitored, ready to intervene. Cadets charged recklessly, expecting to rely on brute strength. Sarah crouched, motioning for Karma to follow. No rush, watch their patterns. Move quietly. Wait for the openings. They slipped past guards using shadows, misdirections, and precise timing. When one of the instructors lunged toward them, Sarah's elbow moved instinctively, tapping a control that triggered a harmless trap, pinning the instructor momentarily. Karma followed suit, activating a similar mechanism. In seconds, they passed through a gauntlet that had stopped every other cadet. The flag was in sight. Sarah sprinted the last few meters, snatched it, and signaled her team. They returned to base without a single error. The arena erupted. Cadets cheered, instructors murmured, and even Zeltrax's tail froze mid-lash. He had never seen such coordination, calm, and ingenuity. Later, during the debrief, Zeltrax approached Sarah cautiously. You have unusual abilities. Tell me, cadet, how do you survive such situations? Sarah met his gaze evenly. I prepare. I observe, I act, and I never let fear control me. Zeltrax's three eyes blinked. There was no anger now, only respect mingled with wariness. Very well, he said slowly. But know this. The Academy tests all and not all survive. The next trial will push you to your limits. As the day ended, Sarah and Karma returned to the dormitories. You were amazing today, Karma said, still awed. You didn't just survive, you led. You changed the outcome, Sarah shrugged modestly. We survived because we paid attention. That's what humans do. That's what I do. The next morning brought the final trial, a simulated disaster on a colony ship. Cadets had to respond to emergencies, rescue civilians, and navigate hazards, all while coordinating with a team. The test was designed to fail most cadets. When alarms blared, chaos erupted. Smoke filled corridors. Cadets panicked. But Sarah remained calm. She directed her team to evacuate civilians, secure unstable compartments, and avoid dangerous areas. Karma assisted, relaying messages and guiding slower cadets. One by one, other teams struggled, while Sarah's team moved efficiently, calmly, and safely. The simulation ended with every civilian accounted for. Zeltrax and the instructors were speechless. Finally, the Academy commander stepped forward. Cadet Sarah, Cadet Karma, she said, her voice echoing through the hall. Your performance has set a standard for the entire Academy. Not only did you complete the trials, you did so with strategy, courage, and calm precision. The galaxy has underestimated humans and Deathworlders alike, but you have proven they are a force to be reckoned with. Cadets erupted into applause. Sarah and Karma exchanged a glance, pride mixed with humility. The victory was not just personal, it was a statement. Humans could survive, adapt, and lead in ways no one expected. Zeltrax approached once more, this time without anger. You have earned respect, Cadet Sarah. Know this. From now on, the rules will not be the same. Others will fear you, not because of your size, but because of your mind, your courage, and your instinct. Sarah nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. I don't need fear, she said quietly. I just need to survive, and help others do the same. Later, as the sun set behind the Academy spires, Sarah and Karma walked across the training grounds. Other cadets glanced at them with new respect. In a galaxy that prized size, strength, and intimidation, humans and Deathworlders had shown that courage, cleverness, and instinct could rewrite the rules. Karma smiled. You changed everything today. Sarah looked toward the stars, her expression calm. We changed ourselves first. The galaxy will notice soon enough. Somewhere in the distant corridors, Zeltrax nursed his pride. He had been bested, not by brute force, but by precision, courage, and intelligence. And he knew deep inside that the Academy would never be the same again. Across the stars, rumors began to spread. Humans, small and seemingly fragile, could survive anything. They were clever, adaptable, and unafraid to face impossible odds. And in time, the galaxy would learn. Never underestimate the human spirit. For Sarah and Karma, the trials were over, but the real journey had only begun. The Academy had taught them many things, but the most important lesson was clear. The mind, the heart, and courage were more powerful than any claw, tail, or brute force.